In the sports world, getting things that are actual sports on live television right now, it's few and far between. And while things are looking on the up and up right now, we may or may not get an NFL season, but imagine if for some reason, because of what's going on in the real world, the NFL had to restart. Every team put their players in a one draft pool, and they did a fantasy draft to decide which team gets which player. It's a 1-year contract for all these guys to see who can win the Super Bowl in 1 year. And we're actually going to be doing that in today's video. If you're hyped for this and you want to see more kind of crazy challenges like this one, leave me a thumbs up on this video. Don't forget to subscribe, because 50% of you guys that watch these videos forget to subscribe. So go ahead and help me. Now in this video, I am making the first 10 picks for the Miami Dolphins, a franchise that it could use a little bit of luck here. We got a lot of people available for us, but Christian McCaffrey at pick number 10 is honestly kind of a gem. Could they go and get a quarterback? I mean, yeah, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, who has not retired in this universe, is there. Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson. I mean, you've seen that it looks like the man, the myth, the legend, Lamar Jackson is no longer there. But I think if we're going to go with one player, we're going to draft a running back, get Christian McCaffrey, and build from there. So in round number 2, they're picking at number 23. Again, a lot of talent here. We could go with Zach Martin, a right guard, to kind of protect our quarterback that we don't have right now. Julio's there, Von Miller, Tyreek Hill is there. There's a ton of ultimate talent. But I think I want to make sure we get a quarterback that can actually lead us to the promised land. Again, these are 1-year deals, so Aaron Rodgers, welcome to Miami. Is that a little bit of a reach? Possibly. Maybe. Let me know in the comments down below if any of these picks are a reach. If you would have did something different, let me know which round and who you would have taken instead of who I essentially took. Now, round number 3, a lot of people here as well. I want to look at wide receiver. We got our running back, we got our quarterback, and we just need to go ahead and get a receiver. Antonio Brown is still there. Yes, he had a really, really bad 2019 and beginning of 2020. But look, Antonio, come down to Miami. You'll be fine. Now, we've done a lot on offense, and we're going to continue that here. We're going to get Brandon Brooks, the right guard out of Miami of Ohio, to protect Aaron Rodgers. Next round is going to be defense, and I may have reached for this guy, but still, somebody's got to protect A-Rod. Defensive backs have been flying off the board, and I need somebody who's got some good speed and is good and talented and can just be out there making plays. And that guy is going to be Tyrann Mathieu. Yes, he's a 92. Yes, there's some other people that I could potentially take, but I need a defensive back, and he's the best one on the board. So Tyrann, welcome to Miami. In round number 6, I need somebody that can put some pressure on the quarterback. So Donta Hightower, welcome to Miami as well. So in round number 7, we only have a couple of picks left. There are a lot of offensive linemen left. Rob Gronkowski is back out here. We could potentially take Rob Gronkowski. And something to keep in mind, all of the rookies that are in the draft class are potentially there. So I don't know if any of them are actually even going to be here. Joe Burrow's here. We could have gotten him. Tua is still here. A lot of that young talent is still available. And even with all that talent available, I'm going with Rob Gronkowski. I'm going to get a tight end that can be a red zone threat. Again, I need Rodgers to have some weapons so we can put some points on the board. Defense, I hope the computer can bail us out. But offensively, we better be a problem out there. And speaking of defense, we don't have a single corner outside of, we have a defensive back in Tyrann Mathieu. We don't have a single corner. Aqib Talib, I think you're in Miami in real life right now. We may have reached for you at 5'16", but we need you right now. And making sure that we can also protect Aaron Rodgers again, Jason Kelce will be our pick in round number 9. One pick coming up, and that's the last one we got. And our last pick might be a little controversial here before we let the computer take over. I'm going Henry Ruggs III. This guy is a burner. We need some speed. We just got it. All right, so the draft is done, but what does our roster ultimately look like? I would have loved to have had Lamar Jackson. That didn't obviously happen. So we got McCaffrey, Kelce, Brandon Brooks. Obviously, those are the guys we drafted. Tyrann Mathieu, Aaron Rodgers, Antonio Brown, Gronkowski. But okay, let's go ahead and look at 5 positions. So Aaron Rodgers, and no one cares about James Morgan. Halfback again, we got Christian McCaffrey, and then we got Rex Burkhead. What the heck? How did we get him? Malcolm Brown. Okay, I'll take that. At fullback, RIP. At wide receiver, we got Antonio Brown, Henry Ruggs III, Kendrick Bourne, Brandon Marshall. That Brandon Marshall, who I thought was retired, but we have that Brandon Marshall. Denzel Mims, I honestly don't hate that. That's a great pick right there. And Chris Moore. Okay, who's Chris Moore? At tight end, we got Gronk, we got Jason Witten, Niles Paul, and Steven Sullivan. Okay. Left tackle, we have Mekhi Becton. Left guard, we have James Daniels. He did not prioritize offensive line enough. Center, we got Jason Kelce. Right guard, we have Brandon Brooks. That side is good. And then, how do you say his name?
Ty Neshke.
I don't think he's very good. And left end, Muhammad Wilkerson. This would have been really cool like 5 years ago. Bruce Irvin, again, 5 years ago, would have been really cool to have him. And Derek Rivers. At right end, we have Randy Gregory. Probably will be suspended from our team in a matter of moments. He's on injured reserve and we turn injuries off. How does that happen? And then Afidi, I don't even know how to say his name.
Afadi Adenabo.
Next position. At defensive tackle, we continue the trend of people's names I'm going to struggle with. I'm going to give it a try, though. Olarunso Adukasi. I nailed it. Behind him, we have Marlon Davidson, Jerry Tillery, and Rashid Hageman. I'm butchering everybody's name. At left outside linebacker, Marcus Golden, Tanner Muse, middle linebacker, Donta Hightower. Again, great pick there. Malik Harrison, Kamal Martin, Joe Walker. Joe Walker's your name? Kyle Fackrell, Andre Branch, and Andre Smith. Our defense is literal trash. Oh my God. Oh, what else do we have? Okay, I'll take Taylor Rapp. I like him as a player, so I'm okay with that. For Coleman, Jesus, Corey Moore. Safety, we got Tyrann Mathieu. Jeff Heath, Cowboy fans somewhere are really happy about that. And then at kicker, we got Matt Gay, and at punter, Andy Lee. Wow. Okay, listen, no one cares about the Miami Dolphins. What about the rest of the league? Eagles, Tyron Smith, Myles Garrett, Alvin Kamara. Ooh, they're kind of looking loaded right now. Shaquille Griffin, Jimmy Smith. Okay, they're not as good as I thought they would be. Stafford's your quarterback. They're going to lose. Falcons, who do you got? Tyreek Hill, Jair Alexander, Cameron Hayward. Okay, this is a stacked team. Andre Whitworth, Brandon Cooks. Garoppolo, you're not winning anything. Next team. 49ers, Von Miller, Earl Thomas, Keenan Allen, Johnny Hecker, Deion Jones, McCourty, Costanzo. Who do we got at quarterback? I'm waiting. I'm scrolling. Who is there? Kyler Murray. Okay. And they got Jalen Hurts behind him. Not a bad team. The Giants got J.J. Watt, Chris Jones, Thomas Brady. Wow. Le'Veon Bell, Brian Bulaga. Okay, the Giants actually put together a solid team here. They got Shady as their backup running back as well. Terrell Suggs, Gostkowski. I don't hate that. Jacksonville, woof. Lamar Jackson, Madden 21 cover athlete. Cooper Kupp, Justin Tucker, the best kicker in NFL history. Malcolm Jenkins, Trey Flowers, DJ Moore. Okay. Dunlap, Kerryon Johnson. Okay, the Jags might be a little problem out there. The Jets, Tre'Davious White, Marvin Jones Jr. Okay. What do they got at quarterback here? Baker Mayfield. Interesting. Lions are coming out here with Bakhtiari, Jared Cook. I'm gonna look at quarterbacks mostly. Kirk Cousins went to the Lions. The Packers got Tua. That's gonna be a solid place for him. The Panthers get Cam Newton. Cam went back home. And they got Tyrod Taylor, guy who's starting over the position you probably wanted in the Chargers. So that's weird. The Patriots get Dak Prescott with Marcus Mariota backing up him. The Raiders get Ben Roethlisberger. No comment. The Rams get Phillip Rivers and Brissett backing him up. The Ravens get Dwayne Haskins Jr. One heck of a downgrade. The Washington racial slurs get Drew Brees with Herbert behind him. Good God, they're going to be a problem. The Saints get Carson Wentz. The Seahawks get Teddy Bridgewater. It's a good spot for him. Pittsburgh gets, as a Steelers fan, this sucks. We're not winning anything. Gardner Minshew. Next. Texans get Russell Wilson. Woof. What else do they got here? Okay, Duke Johnson. Fullback, no one cares. Wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, Curtis Samuel, Deron Brown, Preston Williams, Bryce Butler. Okay, what else they got in this team? I'm intrigued. Stanley, Marshawn Lattimore. Okay. Texans might be the sleeper team to go make some problems happen. Titans get Drew Lock. Congrats on not winning anything. Vikings got Andrew Luck. Might be a problem. Who they got a halfback? Well, okay. Mostert and Melvin Gordon. Fullback, no one cares. Wide receiver, Tyler Boyd, Marquise Brown. Okay, Perryman, a lot of speed on that team. Okay. T. Higgins, good God. Okay. They're literally stacked right now. The rest of Vikings roster is actually looking pretty solid too. Terran Armstead, Eric Ebron, Adoree Jackson, Justin Reed, Raheem. Okay, we saw Mostert, Kerrigan, Zeitler. You know what? Vikings might be a problem too. Look at some of the top names here really quickly. Patrick Mahomes went to Indy. Good God. We saw Wilson. We saw Drew Brees. Rodgers again in Miami. Tom Brady in New York. Matt Ryan in Cincy. Deshaun Watson went to Kansas City. Interesting. What else do we got? Tannehill went to the Browns. Godspeed. Cleveland, you're still not winning anything. One of the best running backs. We're going to see Zeke in the Chargers. Derrick Henry went to the Steelers. He kind of fits that running style. Barkley went to the Bears. Okay, I kind of like that fit for him. Nick Chubb to Green Bay. Dalvin Cook to Buffalo. Kareem goes over to New Orleans. Kamara again we saw in Philly. Joe Mixon to the Cowboys. Josh Jacobs over in Cleveland. Fullback, wow, no one cares. And wide receiver, Michael Thomas, best receiver in the game, goes to Buffalo. Hopkins goes to the Rams. Julio goes to Tampa Bay. Imagine if he had Tom Brady there. Tyreek we saw. Vontae Adams was to Cleveland. Okay, some big-time players. Definitely went to some crazy locations. Imagine if Lamar Jackson had Odell Beckham Jr. Good God. Mike Evans went to the racial slurs. AJ Green went to the Patriots. I thought actually could have happened in real life. This is going to be interesting. We're going to sim at the halfway point, see what the teams are ultimately doing, but if the Dolphins can go at least 500 here. So look at the standings. The Texans are who we thought, 7-1. Giants and Tom Brady are 6-2. The Bills are looking pretty solid. Bengals are actually looking solid. Wow, been a long time. Titans are making me look bad because they're 5-3, but a lot of teams are actually 5-3 in the league. The Dolphins are 4-3, so I'm not the world's worst GM, but we have lost 2 straight. Who is the worst team in the NFL? Wow, the Jags? 4-3? Lamar, do better. Who's the worst team in the NFL? Sorry, Detroit. We did a fantasy draft, and you're still garbage. If you look at the passing leaders, Russell Wilson is still dominating. 2,300 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Pretty much leading everybody where he wants to be leading everybody. Look, 49er fans, I get it. Garoppolo's out here slinging the rock right now. Drew Lock, I apologize, okay? I made fun of you in the Titans. You're killing it. Joe Burrow starting out there in the Chargers. Okay, Joe, I see you. And he's doing mighty well. 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Phillip Rivers revitalizing his career right now. Baker Mayfield, a lot of interceptions, not surprised, but still doing pretty well. Thomas Brady cooking it. Rodgers about 9th or 10th in the league with Lamar Jackson literally right behind him. Lamar's not having a bad year, so I imagine his defense of the running game's not doing all that great for him. Interesting to note, Cam Newton is 2nd in the league with 20 passing touchdowns, has 3 interceptions, so he could be an MVP candidate. And the most interceptions thrown is we thought it would be Baker Mayfield. On the ground, Le'Veon Bell is cooking literally everybody. 925 yards, nearly 1,000 yards to the halfway point. Todd Gurley revitalizing his career in Cincy with 788. Devonta Freeman, 678. Kamara doing well. Kerryon Johnson. Where's our running back? Okay, McCaffrey. I didn't draft you first overall to have 540 yards and 4 touchdowns. Do better. Your touchdown leader is, again, not surprisingly, Le'Veon Bell with 12, Kamara with 8, Mixon, Jones, and Henry all tied with 7. And your fumble leader, just to see who it is, Joe Mixon. McCaffrey, need to see it, and Todd Gurley, all tied with 2. Your top receiver right now is Tyler Lockett, 719 yards, leads the entire league with 56 grabs as well. From a touchdown perspective, we're going to see 8 with Golden Tate. Okay, Drew Lock, I see you out there making connections. Amendola with 7. Jerron Brown has 7 as well. Willie C with 6. I mean, a lot of these guys have 6. KJ Hamler putting in a show right now. Mike Evans, Cole Beasley with 6. What the heck is happening right now? Your tackle leader is Fred Warner of the Broncos with Jayon Brown behind him. If we look at the sack leader, that is going to be Nick Bosa. Not surprised there. He's playing, which in a situation that would be great for him. Obviously, the Panthers, 10.5 sacks right now. With Myles Garrett, Ngakoue, Grady Jarrett, Justin Houston, and Aaron Donald all behind him. And then from an interception perspective, Bryce Callahan has 5 at the halfway point. He must have played Baker Mayfield a whole lot. And to get an MVP snapshot, it's Wilson, Bell, Jackson, Allen, and Cam Newton. I think that's a pretty solid top 5, considering I think Cam Newton could be a little bit higher, but his yards per game right now, not great. So we simmed to the playoffs, and my team went 11-5. I'm the greatest GM of all time. I can't control what happens in the postseason, but my team did well. See about the rest of the league. The Giants went 14-2. The Buffalo Bills circling the wagon with 13-3. The Texans slipped a little bit, but went 12-4. Dolphins, 4th best team in the NFL. Ha! You guys are roasting me in the comments saying I'm a bad GM. Guess what? Did pretty well. The Rams, Seahawks, Raiders, Steelers, racial slurs, Falcons, Packers, and Jags are all going to make it to the playoffs. The Eagles miss out by a smidge there. The Bengals miss out a little bit. But who is the worst team in the NFL? I would like to know. It's not the Lions. It's the Ravens. I mean, technically, for being honest, they're both really bad at 3-13, so they kind of tied. But I'm surprised the Ravens actually did a little bit worse. So to recap how my team did statistically before we look at the rest of the league in comparison, Rodgers, 3,800 yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Honestly, it's not bad. The offensive line probably could have been better, but it is what it is. On the ground, McCaffrey picked it up a little bit here in the second half. He had 540 to start, at the halfway point, and then he picks it up with about 800 yards or so in the second half. Much better performance, gets 12 touchdowns, doesn't fumble anymore. We'll take that from him. Burkhead ran it a couple times. You can see Malcolm Brown go for 7 touchdowns out there. So all in all, we had over 20 plus touchdowns. Gronkowski ran it a couple times. Jesus. Antonio Brown had a pretty solid year, 89 grabs, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne surprised me with 8 touchdowns and 710 yards. Gronkowski had 705 with 12 touchdowns. Ruggs didn't have the greatest year in the world, but still, I'll take it. 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was a burner, and we pretty much just used him in that capacity. But I would have loved to have seen Christian McCaffrey get the ball a bit more. Only 22 grabs and 300 yards for him. Should have had 50 plus catches in my opinion. On defense, Buster Skrine was our tackle leader, which is kind of wild because he's a corner, and corners should not have that many tackles. But 111 for him, 3 of those being for a loss. From a sack perspective, we see 8.5 by Bruce Irvin with Marcus Golden behind him. Interception-wise, we had 2 guys with 3 in Donta Hightower, one of our top picks, and Tyrann Mathieu, again, one of our top picks. Not bad. So to look at the rest of the league in comparison, Russell Wilson continued dominating the entire NFL. 4,500 passing yards, 45 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, that's 75% completion rate, a 126 QB rating. That's probably an all-time record if I had to imagine. Drew Lock balled out too. Listen, I know there's a lot of Drew Lock stands out there. I'm sorry, I apologize. I was wrong. Mahomes balled out too, single-digit interceptions, 38 touchdowns, 4,000 plus yards. Garoppolo, okay. Take it back. I was wrong twice in the same video. Who would have thought? Thomas Brady, solid year. Baker Mayfield, 16 interceptions. So he got to slow down with only 6 picks in the second half. Burrow played well. Josh Allen played well. Imagine that. Let's see if we can find some other guys. Lamar Jackson, a good year for him. Just under 4,000 yards. Cam Newton slowed down a little bit, but still 3,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 8 picks. Nothing to shake a stick at. See where Aaron Rodgers is. Goff did okay. Haskins led his team to being 3-13, so not ideal for them. Kyler Murray had a decent year, but a lot of picks. Watson probably had more picks than he wanted. Tua, in his rookie year, 28 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Efficient, if you got to say anything at all. And really, one of the last starters out there was Andrew Luck, who had probably one of the worst years of anybody. Probably should have stayed retired. 3,400 yards, 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Not a great QB rating, not a horrible one either. And then Jordan Love really got a couple of opportunities, but didn't really do much outside of a couple touchdowns, which were pretty cool. On the ground, Le'Veon Bell, 1,700 yards, Mixon with 1,500. McCaffrey ended up being 3rd in the NFL with 1,381. Touchdown overall, we got to imagine Le'Veon was our leader, and he was. Saquon, Kareem Hunt all had a pretty good year too. The fumble leader, Todd Gurley, 4. Damian Williams had 3 and only 137 carries. Not exactly great. On the receiving side, Golden Tate and Drew Lock had a wonderful partnership going on. 1,500 yards on 97 grabs. Touchdowns, he had 17, leading the entire league. Amendola had a resurgence. I thought he was retired. Had a pretty good year too. Michael Thomas actually 1,100 yards on 12 touchdowns. On the #1 team, or one of the #1 offenses in the league, I would have thought he would have had a slightly better year from a yardage perspective, but still, he killed it. And shout out to Kyle Rudolph with 12 touchdowns, as well as Gronk, who put up big numbers in the red zone like we wanted him to. And your MVP goes to Russell Wilson with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Le'Veon, and Pat Mahomes finishing behind him. Cam slips from 5 to 6, and Baker Mayfield, Drew Lock, Thomas Brady, and Teddy Bridgewater fill out your top 10. So in the wild card round of the playoffs, Oakland beats Jacksonville, the racial slurs beat the Falcons, we end up losing to Pittsburgh, and you see Green Bay beat Seattle. And then in the divisional round, you're going to be basically seeing the matchups of Steelers and Bills, slurs at the Giants, Raiders at Texans, and Packers at the Rams. So Buffalo beats Pittsburgh, the slurs beat the Giants, Houston beats Oakland, and you're going to see the Green Bay destroy the LA Rams. I mean, 14 points maybe shouldn't be destroyed, but still, that's the biggest gap of that entire weekend. In the conference title game, you're going to see Texans and Bills and slurs at Packers. Should be a good one. Your Pro Bowl roster, for anybody who cares, is literally above, and I don't think there's anybody that really jumps out at me. I mean, Cole Beasley being wide receiver #2 with Amendola being #2 maybe feels a little weird here, but other than that, I think the majority of these players kind of make sense. I'm not seeing any crazy overalls that really stick out to me. I mean, maybe Gallimore being here to 76 overall, but the majority of these guys seem to feel like they fit the mold and ended up being there when they should have been there. So in the conference championship, Buffalo beats down Houston, which surprises me. Russell Wilson had an incredible year, but it shut down. And then you see the Washington racial slurs just beat down the Green Bay Packers. Drew Brees is trying to get that championship again. Can he do it? Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Bills will circle the wagon. They beat the Washington racial slurs in the Super Bowl. Go ahead and check and see what the stats are looking like. Josh Allen balled out. I mean, it's kind of weird that Josh Allen got fantasy drafted back to Buffalo, but we'll look past that. Allen at 258, beat out Drew Brees there. He did not have a single touchdown, but Brees did. Had a pick, Drew Brees didn't. Got sacked one time. He was 19 of 24, where Brees was 22 of 36. So neither quarterback really shined or was terrible in this game. On the ground, Dalvin Cook had 45 yards. McKinnon had 19. This was not a slobber knocker of a game. There was not a lot of yards by anybody, really. Michael Thomas, though, did get his yards, 6 for 88, no touchdowns. Eifert, 6 for 77. D.D. Westbrook, 4 for 75. Higbee had a couple there. The only touchdown, looks like, for Washington was by D.D. Westbrook. And then you see Mike Evans, 6 for 49. Dalvin Cook got involved a little bit. But again, nobody really stood out. And Jerry Jeudy didn't even get any catches. Unreal. On defense, Levante David, though, 8 tackles for him, with Desmond King having 7. See, they may got a sack out there. Literally 1 sack the entire game by Jerry Hughes, and not a single interception for Buffalo, but 1 by Keanu Neal of the Washington racial slurs. And Steven Hauschka, 1 field goal made, 24 yards, had 2 extra points, and yeah, not a crazy game, but they won. So there you have it. If the NFL were to restart today or this fall or whenever, the Buffalo Bills would be potentially your Super Bowl champions. They've never won a Super Bowl, so Bills fans, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but enjoy this one. Despite it being virtual, maybe it counts for something. If you guys enjoyed this type of video and you want to see more, do me a favor, leave a thumbs up on the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Pitch me an idea in the comments down below. You never know, might use it.